a homeschool kid, and I'm going to tell you why success skips the hardest workers and how to flip the switch. You ever sit back and wonder, why do some people rise fast while others grind endlessly and barely move? You've been showing up, you've been trying, you've been putting in the hours, building the thing, doing it right, and yet it's like something's not clicking. You're working hard, but nothing's moving. Meanwhile, people with less experience, fewer credentials, and half the passion, they're rising fast. At first, it's confusing. Then it starts to get personal. You start wondering, is something wrong with me? Am I missing something? What else do I have to do to finally get seen? But let me offer you a shift right now that changed everything for me. Success doesn't come to those who try the hardest. It comes to those who add the most value. And not just any value, visible value. The kind people can find, the kind they can feel. Because value that's hidden is value that gets passed over. And no one will reward you for what they can't recognize. This isn't about working more, it's about communicating more clearly. It's about becoming the kind of person the market rewards, not just the one it overlooks. This is where most ambitious people get stuck. They think success is something you earn by effort, but in reality, success is magnetically drawn to clarity, to conviction, to value clearly communicated. Let me say it plain. You could be doing all the right things in the background, but if the right people can't see it, feel it, or find it, it doesn't count. Next, we'll tap into the science of why this happens and how visibility rewires your brain for growth. But first, breathe this in. You're not far, you're just unclear, and that is fixable. Ready to go deeper? You ever wonder why effort sometimes feels like a trap? You put in more, you show up more, you do everything the experts say, but the growth doesn't match the grind. Here's why. The brain doesn't reward effort, it rewards clarity. Every time you hit a small win, your brain releases dopamine, the chemical of momentum. But here's the twist. Dopamine doesn't just come from checking a box. It comes from meaningful movement, from progress that feels aligned, from results that make sense, and that only happens when your effort connects to value, real value, visible value, because your brain, your market, and your income, they all respond to one thing, signals. Let me explain. When you create value but don't communicate it clearly, when you serve deeply but speak softly, when you're present but not visible, the signal is weak. And the world doesn't respond to weak signals. It responds to strength, to clarity, to confidence. That's why people who look less qualified still outperform those who are more qualified, because confidence is a broadcast and clarity is a magnet. So let's talk visibility, not just showing up to post something. I mean showing up as someone who knows exactly what they bring to the table, someone who can say it without shrinking, someone who can show it without seeking approval. You want success to feel good again? Then let your work speak. Let your message cut through. Let your presence become the strategy. You don't need more hustle. You need alignment. You need a signal the world can feel, and a system that helps you repeat it without burning out. That's why I created the 21-day visibility challenge. Not to make you do more, but to help you say less with more impact. If this is hitting you, just wait, because in a moment, I'm going to show you what happens when you combine purpose, presence, and positioning. And when I do, you won't just be working hard, you'll be working in alignment. Let's keep going. They told you success is about showing up, but they didn't tell you this. Showing up without signal is just noise. You can post every day, write the best captions, film the cleanest videos, but if your message isn't clear, if your value isn't felt, if your energy doesn't translate, then what you're doing is invisible effort, and invisible effort leads to invisible results. Let's be honest, you weren't built to be background noise. You weren't called to be just another coach, consultant, or creator online. You were built to shift things, to lead, to impact, but none of that happens until the market can feel you. Not just what you do, not just your features and benefits, but the reason behind it, the value within it, the truth that only you can deliver. So let's flip the mindset. You don't need to prove your worth. You need to communicate it. You don't need to chase the algorithm. You need to build a message that pulls the right people in. You don't need 100 new tactics. You need one aligned signal sent with conviction, repeated with consistency. And when that happens, people start quoting you, referring you, sharing your work in rooms you're not even in, because you didn't just show up. You stood out. You became visible, not because you tried harder, but because you became clearer. And that's what the 21-day visibility challenge gives you. Clarity that communicates, communication that converts, and content that finally feels like it's working for you, not just draining you. You've been doing the work. Now let's build the signal that rewards it. Stick with me, because what's coming next is the final unlock, and it's the one that'll shift how you create content forever. Let's keep going. If you're still watching, it's not by accident. Something in you is waking up. You're starting to realize you were never the problem. Your signal was. You've been trying to do all the right things, posting, showing up, trying to add value. But value isn't about how much you say. It's about what your message activates. Let me show you what I mean. Value isn't tips. It's transformation. Trust isn't built through trends. It's built through truth. Traffic doesn't come from chasing. It comes from clarity. This is where most business owners miss it. They say, but I already give away so much. I'm already showing up. I'm already teaching what I know. But here's the reality. If your audience doesn't feel seen, if your message doesn't solve a felt problem, if your videos don't build belief in your offer, then all you've built is noise. Let's flip the switch. Here's how I want you to start thinking. Every piece of content is a mirror. It either reflects clarity or confusion, trust or tension, alignment or noise. And the moment you decide to align your intention with your expression, that's the moment people start paying attention, because here's the truth. People don't buy products, they buy perspectives. They buy the person who sees the world the way they do. They buy the voice that reflects their exact problem and solves it. And if you've made it this far, I know you're ready to become that voice. So what happens next? We build the signal, we structure the system, we scale the impact. Inside the 21-day visibility challenge, I'll show you exactly how to build a message that magnetizes your market, create content that compounds trust, attract aligned clients without burning out. You don't need to do more. You need to communicate better. And when that clicks, content becomes leverage, videos become assets, your business becomes undeniable. No more guessing, no more grinding, no more invisibility, just clarity, confidence, clients. Let's finish strong. You're one shift away, ready for the final unlock. Let's go. So now you know you don't have to chase, you don't have to shout, you don't have to shrink, you just have to shift from noise to clarity, from effort to energy, from invisible to inevitable. Because here's the most powerful truth of all. Visibility is not about going viral. It's about being known for something real. And when you align your message with your mission, that's when the clients come. That's when the content sticks. That's when your confidence turns into cash flow. So if this unlocks something in you, here's your next move. Step into the 21-day visibility challenge, because now is the moment your message becomes a magnet. Inside, I'll show you exactly how to turn your expertise into content that converts, build trust before you even get on a sales call. Become unignorable in your industry without burning out. You'll walk away with a system, a strategy, and a voice that builds demand, not just likes. Because here's the truth, the world doesn't reward the best, it rewards the clearest. The clearest communicator, the clearest problem solver, the clearest guide in a noisy space. And if you're still reading this, you are that guide. You're just one decision away from becoming visible on purpose, with purpose. So don't just scroll past this moment. Claim it and click the link below and grab the full $97 masterclass, because your message isn't supposed to sit in silence. It's supposed to shift rooms, shape industries, and scale everything you've built.